The Patreon pick this week, as requested by DreadPart46, was of course the 2007 film Redline. Also, brief pause here. Last week we did not read out the name of the Patreon that got their movie picked. Whoops. Yeah, that was actually Tutbot. Thank you for the request last week of Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
Anyways, getting back to the actual Patreon pick, who wants to describe it?
I guess I will. Redline is the story of a woman mechanic, and she's also good at driving, and people are driving, and there's a army guy, and his brother gets killed, and so he seeks revenge, and there's some more driving, and then there's some money involved.
Sounds about right.
I really don't remember the plot very well now that I'm actually thinking about it.
This sounds
There was
just
a
about
creepy
right,
billionaire who like convinces her to marry him or some bullshit like that too. Who cares? It's Redline, the live action version.
Yes,
this movie's
something
weird
like that.
as fuck. It's literally just some girl is a good driver and her fucking dad died in like NASCAR or some shit. And she's a driver system dude that wants to win a race. She gets kidnapped by some fucking crazy rich guy that's trying to pay off debts, and she sabotages a race so that he gets killed.
That is the implication there, which is very funny. Fun fact, this is a weird one. While doing yoga, Michael is greeted by Jerry with Simsalabim. Jerry is played by the actor Tim Matheson, who at 13 years old voiced the titular character of the 1964 cartoon Johnny Quest. Johnny's friend and adoptive brother Hadji would often utter the phrase Sim Sim Salabim as he performed magic.
I see.
So
That's a very fun fact.
yeah. Let's see. What did I write down for this movie? Fucking stupid, occasionally funny, but loses steam.
Dude, I can't count the amount of times when they were panning back and forth to the odometer, and it was just the same fucking speed limit every time. It's like, I don't think they understand how car and speed limit work, but it doesn't just, you flash to the odometer, they're going 60 creeping up, and then go back to the odometer, it's 60 creeping up again. It's a very minute, not important detail, but, you know, especially in a car movie when you have nothing else to focus on, this movie was just kind of, I don't know. It did give me a better appreciation of Fast and Furious. I will agree with that statement. I don't know. The motivations in this movie were kind of dumb. I don't know. I got lost in the sauce, but not in a good way. It was just like, you got I can't really describe my feelings about the movie outside of your summary. It's like, you got cars, you got people betting on cars get blown up or something, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even necessarily think it's, like, bad. Like,
Yeah.
it is bad, but it's not bad, like, unwatchable or whatever. It's mostly just boring and poorly written.
Yeah.
And poorly shot as well. Just the camera in this film is just, it seems to have a mind of its own. It really doesn't seem to know where it should be pointed at any given time.
It's always like 50% more zoom than it probably should be as well. It's not a very pretty movie to look at, even though they're constantly showing off girls scantily clad. That's like the main selling point, I think, of this movie. If you're like a 14-year-old boy, this is going to be your dream come true, because baby, you can watch this for free on YouTube right now.
Dude,
That's very true.
I was watching this movie and I was like, damn, this movie gives me 90s vibes, and I had to go look up the year this was made, and I was shocked to see that it was shot in 2007. This definitely looks and feels like a 90s movie. Which is, you know, not a bad thing, I guess. We've definitely watched good 90s movies, but I don't know if that says anything good about this movie, necessarily.
I mean, it should say that it's bad if it feels like it's from a fucking era ago.
Yeah, and...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going on a non sequitur, but yeah, you go if you have your thoughts still.
I'll make it quick. Literally, all I was gonna say was I agree with Tanner. I didn't think the movie was bad. It didn't pique my interest or entertain me really in any significant way.
Personally, I do think this movie is bad. I think the acting's pretty fucking dog shit across the board. Cinematography is not very good. Soundtrack uninspired. Really is not a whole lot of positives to this movie except for just seeing girls dance around. The racing, of course, is absolute ass. I do think their car selection is interesting, given it's just a bunch of random fucking hypercars.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that some rich guy just goes to some random luxury car dealership, buys a fucking Ferrari Enzo, like a super like multi-million-dollar hypercar off the lot to just go fucking race it. That's not a thing. People buy those cars to have them sit in a fucking heat-controlled garage for 20 years so it appreciates in value.
He's got money on the line.
Very skewed way of looking at car racing. It's like these people have no idea how any of this works. Like, they're not even attempting to, like, even think about it. Honestly, my favorite part about the movie was just whenever, like, they were doing this constantly, is they would kind of similar to what Dylan was talking about, they'd cut down to look at the speedo all the fucking time, and they'd be going, like, 200 miles an hour. That was, like, the minimum speed they were going when they were racing is, like, 200. That is an absurd speed. F1 cars don't go that fast in the fucking races. If you have a really long straightaway, maybe you could hit 200, but like it doesn't make any fucking sense. And they're doing that like ripping around corners. No, that's not how this fucking works. It's hilarious.
That's definitely like Bugatti Chiron and Koenigsegg Gamera Nagara like level stuff, which is those cars are way more expensive than the cars in this movie. That's like
I mean, my fucking GTR can hit 200, but no car that you buy is meant to go 200 around a corner. Anything above like 150 is like almost purely just meant for fucking straight line speed, because at that point you're going so fast that even like minor differences in the way you're steering aren't going to be significant enough to do anything more than just like broad corners.
Yeah, that was like another nitpick that I had kind of to do with that, because they had paddle shifters in this movie, which, you know, the paddle shifters, that's not unusual. What's unusual is they were hitting the downshift paddle consistently throughout the entire movie while they were racing. And that's like another thing with like racing movies too, where they'll have the little gear shifters down like to where it's normally at, and sometimes like that shit's messed up. I don't think I noticed them improperly using the shifter. But, I don't know, I kind of just was turned off to this movie as soon as I realized they were being pretty unrealistic with everything that was going on.
I mean, what's the problem with downshifting during a race? Why is that a criticism?
It's just that they were doing it at all
and
times.
Constantly when you're driving.
There are crucial times that you need a downshift, but it wasn't realistic fitting the portion of the race they were at. Yeah,
well, so they're just kind of cutting to, like, fucking B footage of the car interior most of the time, I'm sure. I do think it's interesting they actually crashed a Carrera GT. Like, that was just the owner's Carrera GT. Those things are like $1 million nowadays. That's I mean, they took out the engine, which granted is a large part of that money chunk, but still,
it's
pretty funny.
In
fact, that's also the car that killed Paul Walker, the Carrera GT.
Oh no. Damn. Yeah, and like to kind of go back to what you were saying with the whole like they were going 200 at a minimum, but like these cars aren't made for that. They really shot themselves in the foot trying to portray these cars are going really fast, but then they also made the bad mistake of like watching the cars drive off and they're going like maybe 50 down the road. And one particular scene that comes in mind is when they're like having the race at the very end of the movie and the odometer shows they're going like 100. And then you watch them speeding down the road, it's like they're going maybe 50 or 60. It's just, I don't know, it's dumb. There are a lot of dumb choices.
Oh, yeah. Nico, you got anything to add to this?
Car guys call speedometers speedos? Are you guys autistic or something? Anyway, I don't have anything to say about this film. What are we ranking this bad boy?
I gave it a flat D, I guess. So kick us off.
Huh.
What an insane ranking. So insane that I'm gonna follow it up with a D-. There wasn't a lot redeeming about this film, I have to say.
Whoa. I don't actively hate this film. I have been convinced to bring it down one from where I had it, so I'll go C-.
Now I'm wondering if I like this movie.
Dylan trying to justify his B+ right now.
No, not that high.
Dude, just give it what you're gonna give it.
Well, that's the issue. Is like now I'm wondering if I'm really thinking about this movie from a... Damn, I wouldn't rate it higher than that movie, though. Fuck it, I'll just throw it in C-.
Fantastic.
He's gonna give it like a B- or something before, Jesus.
I was gonna give it a C+, so that's close enough.
Oh my god.
D+ overall, how exciting.
Wow. Whoa.